Hey, what's up, Cubs fans? I'm Joe Marras. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Marras, Joemarras. Here to talk about a Cubs 8-6 loss in 10 innings. Plenty. Unfortunately, it's a loss, a series opener loss, but at the same time, there's plenty to be happy about today. A lot of fight shown in the Cubs today. Hendricks was on the mound. So overall, it's not a lost night. If you're expecting the Cubs to show up every day and win, I think it's about time to lower those expectations. And I think today was a great sign of that, especially playing the Southsiders. They're going to get pumped up every time we play them, no matter what the circumstances are. So it's tough because all the Cubs fans are still going to be treated like these are the biggest games. The Cubs should win, blah, blah, blah. Sox fans are going to shove it down your throat, as we probably would have if the roles were reversed, but they're not. So it sucks. But that's just how it is. Saw a lot of good things today. I mean, the Cubs had to face Lance Lynn. He's probably at this point the Cy Young favorite in the American League. So I mean, that's no small task. But they were able to scratch one, I think, on him. I'm not. Let's see if it was charged to him or not. Yeah, so that run was charged to him. Kopech, although, was the one who allowed it on a sac fly from David Bodie. And Hendricks was on the mound for the Cubs today. Hendricks looked pretty good. He had that rocky fourth inning where he allowed 2 runs. A lot of soft contact from him today, which is just awesome to see. It's really unfortunate for the Cubs and for Hendricks that he had to face up with Lance Lynn. The Cubs' best chance to win a game this series is probably today. But at the same time, the White Sox' best chance to win the game was today with Lance Lynn on the mound. So really bad lineup for Kyle Hendricks. Really unfortunate, but he went out there. He threw 6 innings, only allowed the 2 runs, 3 walks. 2 of them were intentional to Cesar Hernandez to get Lance Lynn up on the mound or up at the plate with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He was able to get him striking out, swinging both times. So that was nice. Kyle Hendricks overall 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, and 7 strikeouts. So it's a good White Sox team. They can really hit the ball. They're struggling at the plate a little bit, but that doesn't take anything away from them. Not at all. So it's definitely nice to see Hendricks come out and do exactly what we expect him to do. His ERA for the season's now down to 3.68, which if you would have said that to me back in late April or early May, we all would have been like, okay, that makes a lot more sense than what he was throwing early in the season. So that's nice to see. But as far as the offense, there wasn't much going on until the 8th inning. The Cubs didn't score until the 7th inning on a David Bodie sacrifice fly. They had 10 hits overall, but you have to think, obviously, majority of those came later in the game. But I think the big story of the day today for the Cubs is they won the Craig Kimbrell trade. Only took about a week. Kimbrell comes in the bottom of the 8th inning to shut it down and be that bridge to Liam Hendricks. But he comes in and gives up 2 hits to start the inning. And then Andrew Romine, who hasn't homered in a major league game since 2017, which was with the Tigers, takes Craig Kimbrell deep to right field to tie the game. After the Cesar Hernandez home run to make it 4-1 in the top of the 8th, I kind of shut off, or it was the top of the 7th. I kind of shut off, and I was like, oh, here we go again. There was a little bit of fight. It's always nice to see a little bit of fight. And then Cesar Hernandez kind of ended that. And then, sure enough, Andrew Romine, who's had a pretty good stretch since he's been called up, he's hitting .438 with an 11.25 OPS. He had 2 hits today, 3 RBIs. So he's looked real nice so far. And he's made a couple nice plays at shortstop, which a team in this kind of condition could always use some shortstop help. But he takes Kimbrell deep to right field, which is just hilarious. It's just so funny. He looks so weird in that uniform. And then he comes in and gives up a 3-run bomb that ties the game, and he just looked baffled. He really looked like 2019 Kimbrell back on that Wrigley mound. So it's pretty fitting. But I saw something rolling around Twitter that Kimbrell has, every time he's joined a new team, he had in his first 10 appearances, he has given up he has an appearance with at least 3 runs. So that's kind of weird. I mean, he's an all Hall of Fame pitcher. And, we saw it in 2019 with the Cubs, with the Padres, with the Red Sox, he did it. But in majority of his appearances that came with the Braves, the first team he came up with, I think it was around 250 appearances. He didn't give up 3 runs one time. So that's pretty crazy. That's just one of those things where baseball is weird. There's just not much else to say besides baseball is weird. You have Andrew Romine, who hasn't homered in over 4 years in a major league game, facing a guy who has only given up 2 runs all season, and then gets traded and faces a team that traded him, and he gives up a 3-run game-tying homer. So that was pretty cool. And then bottom of the 9th, Cubs had a chance to win the game with Matt Duffy on base, singled to the right side, stole second base, and then Ian Happ comes up, who Happ was having an okay day, pretty solid contact, had that double in the first inning. But he comes up facing Liam Hendricks and strikes out with Matt Duffy on second base, sending the game to extra innings. And the extra innings were not very nice to the Cubs. Manny Rodriguez comes in for the Cubs and immediately gives up a 2-run line drive opposite field home run to Brian Goodwin. Very similar to the home run he gave up to the Nationals, Yadiel Hernandez. I think Manny Rodriguez is pretty much dead proof that velocity is just not enough anymore. It's flashy, it's awesome, but velocity is not enough alone to get yourself through a major league inning, and we're seeing that. And he's only made 3 major league appearances, so he's got plenty of time to work on it. There's no worries, but I think it's just proof that you need more than just velocity, and I think he can get there. But he comes in, gives up that 2-run homer, and then proceeds to give up 3 more base hits. He gives up 1 more run before being pulled for Michael Rucker. And Michael Rucker actually ends up getting all 3 outs, 2 strikeouts, gets the Cubs out of the inning. And then Frankie Schwendell, Frank the Tank, who's actually he's looked okay for the Cubs. He had 2 hits today, and then a 2-run homer to begin the inning. So kind of weird that in the 10th inning, both teams had a leadoff 2-run homer. Just one of those weird things that who knows if we'll ever see again if the rule doesn't stick. But it's nice to see some fight in the Cubs, and I think that really lends back to the culture that was created and the culture that's going to stay, even though all those players who helped build it are really not here anymore besides Wilson Contreras. And Contreras didn't even start today. He came in late in the game as a bat. So I think that's something to watch the rest of the season, is just that fight. We're not gonna be favorites to win most games, and that's okay for now. We can handle that for 2 months. It's gonna suck, especially when you're playing the White Sox. It's gonna suck, but you're just seeing that fight. You saw it in Colorado, that nice 2-out inning where Patrick Wisdom ended it with a 3-run double that put the Cubs on top, and that was enough to win the game. You're just if we can see that throughout the rest of the season, I'll feel really good going into the offseason. So that's something to keep an eye on. It's just that fight. And, it might have something to do with David Ross. I mean, he was here in 2016. He was here last year. There's just so much excitement in the dugout. There's still so much energy. And that energy breeds an environment you want to play in no matter what the score is. So guys are still going up to the plate ready to hit. They're not going to give up an at-bat, especially right now. It's so important not to give up an at-bat because we're a AAA team playing a major league schedule at this moment. So you could be sent right back down any moment. So you keep playing hard. You keep playing well. You look at Andrew Romine. He's going to be the everyday shortstop for the rest of the season if he keeps playing like this until Nico Horner comes back, obviously. But then maybe move him over to second base, If he's going to continue to hit and fight like this, he's going to stay with us the rest of the season. And then who knows, make himself another job for next year. Same thing with Rafael Ortega. I'm not sure what his control is for the rest of the season, but you keep playing like that. He's hitting over 400 since the All-Star break. You're going to earn yourself a job, whether it's with the Cubs or somebody else in the major leagues. So I think that's the goal for all these guys, especially the ones on a 1-year deal or the guys that are just coming up from the minor leagues. Go out there and earn yourself a job, and we're seeing it. Not enough from the bullpen or the pitchers, unfortunately, but we're getting there, one step at a time. So Cubs fans, just stay the course. Make sure to keep your focus on the guys that are going to be here. You see Bodie, keep your eye on Bodie. Keep your eye on Alec Mills. I've been saying it for the last 2-3 weeks, even before the trade deadline is. Alec Mills is going to be here for a while. Keep your eye on him. He's going to play an important role. And if what Ricketts said on Marquee, that he truly believes the Cubs are going to be contenders next season, Alec Mills is going to be a part of it. So keep an eye on him. Bodie, Ian Happ. I mean, he's just having an abysmal year. So that's not news, but just keep an eye on him. If he can start to put something together, give us a little bit of excitement going into next season. And Schwendell, I mean, right now, Frank Schwendell is our first baseman. There's really no other option. So he goes out there, he can earn himself another job. He can be the opening day starter at first base. Who knows? We're not really stacked at first base in our system. So it's Schwendell. There's Bryce Ball, who the Cubs acquired in the Jock Peterson trade, but he's still kind of working his way through. So we might not likely see him until the spring training next season at the earliest. And that might just be kind of a flyer. Say, hey, why don't you join us for a couple days? So if I'm Frank Schwendell, I mean, it's his job to earn right now. And I think that's a fun position to be in. And, Ian Happ, there's not much else to say about Ian Happ, is that something's got to change. He went from being your everyday center fielder to now being a platoon left or right fielder. So there's plenty of room for him to grow. It can't get much worse. Hopefully this is his floor. It doesn't get any lower than this, but who knows? And we're seeing the same thing with David Bodie, hard contact. He can play a vital role in a very, very good team. And I think we'll see that next year, the year after that. So that's about all I got in today's game. Not much else to say. Is you love to see the fight. You love to see the late game runs. Even after the Cubs gave up 4 runs in the top of the 8th, they still came back with that 2-run homer. Just gives you a good feeling. Doesn't leave that bad taste in your mouth, especially when you're playing the Southsiders. So tomorrow's game against the White Sox at Wrigley Field, same 1:20 start. On the mound for the Cubs, it's Adbert Alzolay, who is 4-11 with a 4.85 ERA, facing Carlos Rodon, who's having a very resurgent year at 8-5 with a 2.49 ERA. He's having a little rough patch, but a 2.49 ERA on the year is just spectacular. And for a while there, I'd say he was right next to Lance Lynn as a favorite for the AL Cy Young. So that's going to be a tough one. Another tough one for the Cubs tomorrow. It doesn't get any easier. You face Lance Lynn, who's got I think after today, lowered his ERA under 2. So, it's no easy task. So tomorrow, just same thing. Keep those good at-bats rolling. We need to see Alzolay kind of turn a corner at some point. You're seeing a lot of home runs, just like we've seen with Arrieta. You're seeing just so many home runs given up by Alzolay. And if he can just cut down by half, you can see the stuff, man. He strikes out, and he can strike out guys whenever he wants. So he's just got to start to build some momentum here. There's some speculation that the Cubs might, when they bring up Justin Steele, bring in a 6-man rotation to ease Alzolay with his innings count. At some point you have to let the guy go. I think he's 28, 26. So he's not a young guy that you got to protect anymore. He's got to go out there and earn it. Just like the rest of the position players that are up here right now. Alzolay's got to go out there and earn it. And, that's a 1:20 game on a Saturday against the White Sox, who are just dominating their division. They're going to cakewalk through the rest of the season. And they're feeling good about themselves. I heard a lot of "Let's go White Sox" chants. Hopefully some of the Cubs players take that personally tomorrow. And it's not like the White Sox offense is just tearing the cover off the ball. Yeah, they scored 8 runs today, but other than that, they haven't really been able to put many runs on the board. So Alzolay hopefully can rack up some strikeouts, get us through 5 or 6, and then we can see what we got the rest of the inning there. As for a fly the W pick, so Carlos Rodon is tough. He's a hard thrower, good slider. I think Wilson Contreras, after an off day, not really an off day because he came in late in the game as a replacement. I think I'll go with Wilson Contreras. He usually plays pretty well against the White Sox. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to face Giolito, who he's pretty much dominated in his career anytime he's got to face him, which is fun to see. But I think I'll go with Wilson Contreras. So I think that'll end us for today here at Cubs on Tap. Don't forget you can follow us at Cubs on Tap, Cubbies on Tap, Cubbies on Tap on Twitter. Check out all of our stuff at ontapsportsnet.com. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.